Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to our weekly live um teaching sessions. Last week I switched over to StreamYard, and those of you guys that tuned in, I appreciate it. I did not know how to work the whole screen, the screen to see me last week. So you were able to hear the broadcast, but you weren't able to see me. So I definitely apologize in that. And I do want to say thank you guys for coming back this week. Like I told you last week that I was going to do it again. I was going to bring it home again. But today I am going to give you the biggest eye-opening mistakes parents and teachers make with teaching. These are all mistakes that not only I do or I have done. Either I've done it in the past as a teacher, I've done it as a parent, or mistakes that I not only I've done, but I've also seen people do. But I can truthfully say that every one of these mistakes I have personally made and I've learned from them. So I definitely wanted to come and share them with you guys. So without further ado, let's get started. Let me know if it goes out or anything, because this is my first official time using StreamYard. It didn't work last week, but I think we have it. So let's get it started. So today, make sure you stick around all the way to the end, because there is a bonus tip that I want to give you guys at the very end of this stream. It's a tip that I actually did. So when I was preparing for the stream, I've been teaching my child every single day, and I literally did the mistake. Not like I didn't do the mistake, but I learned from the mistake that I've done. So make sure you stick around all the way to the end so that you can get the bonus mistake. And then you guys can also do another mistake that I just learned with even this. Technology messes up, so always have a backup plan. Always have a backup plan. I've learned that. All right, so let's get into mistake number one. And mistake number one is, when I was teaching, I created these overly complicated lesson plans. Oh my goodness. You guys, have you ever spent hours upon hours upon hours creating a lesson plan that just has all these parts? You got it from the internet. You have all this stuff that you want to do and you want to teach, but then you just don't get to it. Why? Because it was too much. It was too much. And I realized that lesson plans weren't controlling me. I mean, I wasn't controlling lesson plans. Lesson plans were actually controlling me. Back in college, when I was getting my degrees and I first learned how to create a lesson plan, there were these overcomplicated things. I mean, it was like 6 pages for one lesson every single time. So I thought that they had to be these overcomplicated lesson plans. And what I ended up realizing is I never had time to actually teach. Never. I felt like I always was running out of time. It was always like, okay, guys, well, tomorrow we'll come up and finish that. And tomorrow we'll come and do this. And tomorrow we'll do this. And y'all, it was too much. So that was one mistake I've done. And if you're a new teacher, let me know down in the comments if you can relate to that, especially coming from college, moving to the real world, and you realize that, yeah, you don't have to do any of that anymore. Um, um, so I want to make your lives a little easier with this. So one way that I learned how to stop making over complicated lesson plans is to have like kind of like a bank of go-to activities. So, there is a link down in the description. Make sure you check that out. That has my top 3 kind of like go to activities that could start you in lessons. So you can do these activities both at home and in the classroom. And they can be used for any standard. There's like multiple choice, true or false games. And then I also give you a bonus icebreaker with that as well. So that's all free. The link is down below in the description. So you have that. I've helped you out just a little bit. So my second mistake that I've made is no work-life balance. Oh my goodness, you guys. This one. So back when I was teaching, Where are my 8 p.m. teachers? Where are those? Where are the teachers that stay to work until, the janitors leave? Because that was me. That was me. Yes, I see something that can relate to the complicated lesson plans. Yes, they are so it's a lot. But with the complicated lesson plans, you had to stay at work all these late hours, and that was me. Always working, overtime, um, really tough because I had no work-life balance. And my other teacher friends, we all did it. It's not like I was by myself. We had a whole little crew of us. And so we didn't have a lot of work-life balance, like Monday through Fridays, and even on the weekends. On the weekends, you're grading papers on the weekend. At nights, like people would contact me, oh, I can't do that. I realized it even started interfering with Bible study because I was always at work. So that's one of the issues when you don't have that work-life balance is, um, like with anything, things start to, fall apart. But for me, it was staying at work till 8 p.m. every night. And even as a parent, I've had to learn that when I do these little sessions where I want my daughter to, do her at-home teaching, that I still have to allow her to have some fun. Like, she's still a kid. I still have to allow her to have a little bit of fun so that she can learn and come back to it. So it stays fresh. It stays something new. I can't just keep kind of overly harassing her as I do best. All right, so let's get to mistake number 3 that I have made, and that is not having clear routines in place. Woo! Y'all. And that is both with teaching and being a parent. So I can talk about let me talk about teaching first, and then I can talk about, being a mom doing this. So not having clear routines, not having, and this kind of goes hand in hand with having a clear schedule. But when I first started teaching, I just feel like I was thrown into the lion's den. I didn't really know, what I should be doing, when to be doing it. People would be like, "Oh, well, set up a small group." But how? How? What does that look like? I did not know the importance of routines. So I just had a whole bunch of rules. I had all of these rules, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. I didn't know what I was doing, y'all. So I had all the don'ts. And I was running to the Dollar Tree every day, every day, getting toys and stuff because I needed my kids to listen to me. So I just was rules, just a whole bunch of rules. And like I would write their names on the board, and as they would do things that were good, I would write their name. So then those are the kids that I would go to the Dollar Tree and buy new treats. Well, you guys, that was very expensive. And I did this every day because that's how I did not have classroom management. So, and I didn't understand the power of routines versus rules. So I was very heavy on rules, not realizing what I was missing is routines. And when I say routines, I mean doing the same thing over and over and over again each day. So then it becomes like automatic for children. So if it is, small group in the classroom, they don't have to think twice. They know exactly what they need to do, how they need to do it, and so on, right? As a parent, y'all, this was really complicated, especially that because I was at work full time, and then you have to come home and teach your child. So I have been that parent. But I had to create a at-home schedule that allowed for a teaching routine to be in place. And this is one thing I teach a lot of my clients that are parents, like how you incorporate like a learning schedule in your regular working routine, because that's really what children need, is they need the routines in place. So this is not only a mistake that I've learned in teaching, like I explained, but this also I have been guilty as a mom. I had to figure that out. I learned as a parent the biggest struggle was inconsistency. So I shared as a teacher, my biggest issue was like rules versus routines. I really struggled with that. But as a mom, I struggle with the lack of consistency. And I think partly is because I was so tired. I was always working, so I felt like I never had the time to teach, or I wasn't prepared to teach because I did not have a routine of teaching in place. So please come up with your own routine. Think about, okay, when are some days that are perfect for me? When can I teach my child? What works best? You don't need that much time, y'all. We think it's this long, complicated thing, but in actuality, it is not. It is not. It is not. It is not. All right. The fourth mistake that I made is trying to befriend the children slash my child. And this is one thing I see people do. I've done. If it's you, let me know down below in the comments. Say, just send me a smiley face emoji if you have tried to befriend either your child or your children in the classroom. Um, as a teacher, because I was so young when I went into teaching, I got a lot of the things that my kids got. Like I was teaching fifth grade, and even when I was teaching preschool, because I taught preschool first, I really didn't try to be friend with the preschoolers, but it really happened when I went to fifth grade. And I think that's because a lot of the things we watch were the same. Like I was watching the same TV shows as my kids. So like they would come to school talking about it, like, "Oh, did you watch Love and Hip Hop last night?" And I did watch Love and Hip Hop last night. So I had to go through that. But what ends up happening that I had to learn is it breaks the respect barrier down. And so then when you need them to do something as the authority figure, it's harder for them because now they see you as more of a friend. They do need to see you as a person they can go to, as a person they can trust, as a person who has their best interests at heart, but they don't need to see you as their bestie. Okay. And even as being a mom, like it hurts when I have to discipline my daughter because I'm like always like, your mommy's best friend, your mommy's best friend. But in actuality, she's not my best friend. She's my daughter. And when I try to go to teaching her and I have to create that division of structure, it's really hard for her to adjust because naturally, if you're friends with somebody, if they're like, "Hey, I want to teach you something," you don't necessarily have to listen because they're your friend. Versus if they're more of authority figure, then you would have to listen. So I learned both in both situations the need for structure. I learned that in order to really break that barrier down and set myself as the authority figure, that I had to create structure. And within that structure, kids need structure. A lot of times where kids act out is because they don't have the structure in place to do what they need to do and to thrive. All a kid needs is structure and somebody to believe in them, and they will skyrocket. All right, let's go to the next mistake. The next thing I really messed up with was the lack of confidence. And you might be saying, how is this a mistake? How do you have control over confidence? You may be also experiencing a lack of confidence and you just don't know what do you do about it. Well, um, I just want to give a quick little analogy. Okay, where are my people that are like me and they're afraid of dogs or wolves, any kind of like vicious animal, right? Especially wolves. Wolves or dogs. So that's me. I'm one of those. I am not a dog lover at all. Like I like little dogs but not big dogs. Anywho, so with that, you guys, they smell fear. So I remember like every time I was around dogs, like I was always told like, don't let them know you're scared, because if you are fearful they can smell fear, right? And then their hormones can sense it, right? And I hate to say this, you guys, I really hate to say this, but kids are just like dogs and wolves. They can smell fear. And just like us, like, okay, have you guys ever had a boss or you ever been in a meeting where you knew the person that was talking to you didn't know what they were doing? Like, you knew hands down they don't know what they're talking about because they didn't have any confidence in it. Like, even if they were wrong, right? If I wanted to prove to you 2 plus 2 is 3, let me show you. And I can break it down how 2 plus 2 is really 3. At least I have confidence. So if you didn't know the answer was four, you probably would believe that two plus two was actually three because I had the confidence. Well, when you don't have that confidence, people like we can easily sense when somebody's not genuine or they don't really know what they're talking about. Like, oh, you just got these notes because you had to throw this meeting. We can feel it at a job. Kids are the same way. They can smell it. And when what it ends up doing is you don't feel like you want to do it. Like if you don't know what you're talking about, I'm not going to do it. For what? Why would I do it if you don't even know what you're doing? Right? And you don't want that feeling. And for all my parents out there that this this is all new for you, like homeschooling is new, you feel like, but I don't know what I'm doing. I don't. My child must smell. They clearly must smell my fear. Don't you gain the confidence? Just know all you have to do is be one step ahead of them. Just be one step ahead of them, and be confident in that you know what you're doing. Um, and I'm here. Let me know. Like, email me. My email's attached to this is hello@everythingaja.com. But just reach out and give that confidence. What ends up happening is you'll feel like the kids are running you. Now, earlier I talked about I wasn't running my lesson plans, but my lesson plans were running me. Well, with this, kids will start to run you because they smell the fear. They know that they're more in authority over you than you are in authority over them. So over time, hate to say it, but you will be ran by them. All right. So the next thing that you can learn from my teaching experience is winging it when not planned. So just like I stated earlier, even as a parent, I'll try to go into teaching because I didn't have routines in place. So I would just be teaching off the whim. Well, when you start to teach off the whim, you end up winging it because you have no lesson that you're following. So I know a lot of veteran teachers do this a lot because you're like, oh, I know this, I can do this. And while some things you can wing, especially if you're very good at phonics, you can wing certain things, but it's not winging it. What that is called routines. When you have a and proven routine, then you can kind of wing it. But if you're trying to wing a lesson when you're not planned, it will go wrong. Let me tell you. I have been doing lessons and I realized, oh my goodness, I didn't even bring the materials. Why? Because I forgot, or I didn't look at the material part in the lesson plan. Or like even when I try to teach my daughter, like if she gets something really quick and I'm not following like a official lesson plan, because I mean at this point I've been teaching a decade. If I'm not literally looking at like a lesson plan, she might go through the activity in 5 minutes and then I'm left with like, hmm, now what do we do? Well, let's go over letters, baby girl. Like, and then she's not into the activity anymore. Why? Because I'm winging it. And she knows I'm winging it and it just doesn't go well. Don't you guys hate when somebody gives you busy work? That's what almost what winging it looks like. It looks like it's just busy work. You're just doing it to do it. And it is a complete waste of time. I'd rather you just not teach for that day than to sit here and waste your child or children's time. All right. So the next mistake that I made was not creating engaging lessons. And I didn't really understand what an engaging lesson actually meant. Like, what does that mean? What does that look like? I just didn't understand it. Like, okay, engaging lessons. Like, what does that really mean? What does that really look like? And I had to understand what engagement actually looked like. True engagement when learning. Um, I never really assessed anything to know if engagement was a part of it. So, like, I started doing all these fun activities, but then even with these fun activities, the kids weren't getting stuff. Why? Because I didn't know how to make the lessons engaging. And I realized there was a big disconnect. Like, I would do this long lesson, create the lesson, go over the lesson. Then at the end of the lesson, I didn't know if my kids got it. I had no idea. I was just going through the lesson. So without having that guidance to be able to know what to teach, what others, and then I started I started doing what other people were doing. Like, oh, well, run down the hall to another teacher. Well, what are you doing? What are you doing? Let me do what you're doing. So I found myself doing that a lot in the classroom, just asking other people, well, what are you doing? So this is why, like I said earlier, down below in the description, you'll see a link to 3 really fun, engaging activities that you can use with multiple choice, true or false, and you can use it with any standard that you're doing, but they're automatically going to be tested and proven activities that are engaging to get kids physically active and mentally active. And I also gave a bonus icebreaker in there, just to help you get, to get that engagement up, right? So yes. All right, so let's jump into our next mistake. And if you're getting value out of this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Give this video a nice big thumbs up, share it with other parents, share it with other teachers. If you or anybody else you know that are going through any of these mistakes, please share this video. Let them know, like, hey, she went through this too. All right, so our next mistake is I didn't know how to take care of myself. And back then, self care wasn't a real big thing. Like right now, it seems like the world, especially with the coronavirus, is very conscious of self care. Like they talk about self care. Well, you got to do what's best for you, because mental health has been very apparent throughout this pandemic. But I know for like self myself, is like I had to learn how to take care of myself, because I was always putting children first, and even as a mom I always put my child first. And then I have to remember, and I hope you remember, how to truly put yourself first. I thought the world was going to end if I took off work. Where are my teachers at that have gone through that? Like we think like, oh, I can never take off work. Who's going to do this? Like especially in education, I found out a lot of educators are like that. We feel like it's going to be the end of the world if we take off. Who's going to teach these kids? The sub can't teach these kids. And even as a parent, you're like, well, it's all on me. Like I know me. I feel like it's all on me. Everything is on me when it comes to my daughter. Bath time, learning, feeding, like fun, everything. And it is exhausting. It is very exhausting. Um, and I feel like even as a mom, if my child didn't know something, I always felt like they were gonna fail in life. Like her entire life is gonna be over. Like right now, I can show y'all. So I do like assessments with my daughter. And that's when you know you're an educator, when you sit here and you test your own child. But anyways, so I do these tests and I get them from Reading A to Z. I actually have a link in my bio as well, so you can actually get a coupon to Reading A to Z, if that's something you're interested in. But on there, you can do like assessment. So I assess her just like once a month. So this was the beginning of October. She got a 75%, and in what is it? August. Sorry, y'all. She got a 60%. But yet she started to blend words. But I had to realize, like, okay, although she doesn't know the letter R or Q or Z or U, I had to realize that it wasn't the end of the world, right? It wasn't the end of the world. And I'm sharing that to tell you guys, like, it's not the end of the world. Yes, we always want our kids to know everything. We feel like if our kids don't learn something, it's the end of the world, but it's not. It's really not. We do have to take care of ourselves and realize that it's gonna be okay. Like even though my daughter don't know all her letters, baby girl is blending words. You don't need to know every one of your letters in order to start reading and doing phonics. So I had to learn that it was okay, and I had to understand to make life simpler. It was the key. Like, what could you do to simplify your life? What can you do to put you first? So one thing I learned how to do was creating a bank of lessons. So I even have like a bank of go-to lessons at home, the same way I had a bank of go-to lessons in the classroom. And that is why, one more shameless plug, I created the 3 fun, engaging lessons for y'all so that you at least can start to create that bank. And like I know I've shared with you guys, I have something exciting for y'all coming out, a new program that I've been working on. teaching by design. So within that program, I want to teach you guys how to make teaching strategic and simple so that you can have all these engaging lessons without the overwhelm of the planning, and feeling like you're not doing it right, all the other stuff. So look forward to that. I actually have a live webinar that I'm gonna do coming up in a few weeks, November 8th. So get ready for that announcement. All right. Next mistake I did was I use videos as lessons. And this is super big when it comes to introducing something that was new to me. I would always go online, look up a YouTube video, look up a Khan Academy video, and share it with children. Like, okay, we'll learn from this video. But what ends up happening is only one type of learner can really learn, and that's a visual learner. And even then, they have to be ready to receive the information, right? So when you use videos to actually teach a new skill, it actually can hurt the child versus help the child because it makes them start off detached or unengaged with the content, right? So when you're introducing a new skill, you don't want to use a video to teach that skill. Let me tell you what you're gonna do. Instead, what I had to learn is you have to teach the skill, so that they can have that face to face or human reaction with the skill, so they're able to capture at least attempt to capture. They've heard it before. They get more familiar with it, and then you use a video to either enhance the lesson, to remediate, to review, to reteach. So if I just taught you how to use base 10 blocks and I've given you the hands-on experience of using base 10 blocks, now and only now I can give you a video of how to do it. Or if I just taught you how to um, blend CVC words, now I can give you a really cool Khan Academy video that goes over the same thing, because then you can receive the information better because the video is used as an enhancement. And then they're able to kind of like make that connection from what you just said to what they actually see. And then it makes for a better cognitive kind of like glue where they're able to connect things and connect the dots. So you also can use videos to preview a skill. So like not to necessarily teach the skill, but like if you just did base 10 blocks and you're about to move to another strategy of addition or subtraction or whatever, then you can use a video to preview a skill as well, and then you come back and you actually teach the skill. So you can't do it before a skill or after or reteaching. But there has to be the initial, the full blown lesson needs to come from you. All right. So the next thing is I didn't invest in the proper professional development. And I know a lot of you guys that are teachers, you may be saying, well, that's on the school to do. But if you're a school, if you're an administrator, I am telling you, invest in the proper professional development. So I have done a lot of professional developments over the years. I've been pretty much for as long as I've been teaching, I've been doing professional developments. Like even when my first year teaching, my administrators actually came to me and they were like, I need you to teach the other teachers how to read, like how to teach reading. I was like, wait, me? Because for me, reading was always my weakness. Like my mom can tell you, y'all, I could not sound out words to save my life. Like I learned how to teach reading really when I was student teaching, because they used the Basel program. What was it? Reading Mastery. I don't know if y'all ever heard of that. Let me know if y'all ever heard of that. But it was pretty much a Basel program, meaning that it was scripted. It was a completely scripted program. But I learned phonics like and how to read, and I was like, oh yeah, all everything started clicking. Like this is what I never had. So I made a vow that every child that I ever would have are going to learn how to read, because I didn't get that, and I wanted to give kids something that I never received. Like I didn't learn phonics, I didn't learn the proper way to read. So um so with me, like giving professional development, I've really learned that there's so many teachers and parents that just don't know. It's not that they don't want to know, they just don't know. So if you feel like you don't have the proper professional development in your, your school system, or you feel like you need the proper professional development at home to be either a homeschool mom or a teaching mom, um, that is literally what my program does. It literally walks you through, step by step, how to teach, really simply and effectively, how to create engaging lessons without the overwhelm, how to do this so that you can continue to make a difference. So many of us, and I say us because I'm in there, end up leaving education, or so many of us give up on teaching our kids simply because we don't have the proper professional development in place to know that we're doing the right thing. I hear so many parents and so many of you guys always say, I don't know if I'm doing it right. Well, if you had the proper professional development, you would know, and you would have the confidence that you are doing it right. Um, if you feel like everything you do is more like work and you don't have guidance, then that is a key indicator. Like if it just keeps saying like, oh, this is work on top of work on top of work, and it just seems like you're like in a wheel cycle, that's a key indicator that you need some proper professional development that can kind of walk you through. I know for me, I felt like I needed like a step-by-step guide. So that's what I want to give to you guys. All right. So, once again, if you find one of these mistakes, don't forget, like one of these mistakes helpful, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. I said at the beginning, I am going to give you a bonus mistake. So, you guys, my daughter's school was closed down for 2 weeks due to COVID. Hello, hello, hello. Her school was closed down due to COVID, and within those 2 weeks, I taught my daughter how to read. So before, she was only saying letters, and I started doing letter sounds every day when she got home, as a part of her routine, like talk about routines. And so with that, she started getting more and more familiar with her sounds. So in 2 weeks, y'all, she learned how to read words. Super excited, super excited, super excited. Give me a happy face. I'll share the love for her. But so you guys, but while I'm teaching her how to blend words, like you see the blending board is right there, like right there on the side of my bed. There's my blending board. Um, Thank you, thank you. I'm so glad you're loving the content. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Today we're talking about the 10 biggest mistakes that I've made in both teaching and as a parent. So I'm sharing like how my daughter went from um, just doing just letter sounds and learning how to blend. But while she was home in those 2 weeks of having COVID, literally, you guys, I was teaching her how to do a word. So it'd be like, dog. She'd be like, dog, dog. She's running around, turning around. Ooh, y'all. Did y'all see that? That's basically what she was doing. And I couldn't get mad at her because I have learned from my bonus mistake, which was thinking that kids must sit still in order to learn. Most kids have the itch when they're learning. They feel like they have to be moving, they have to be shouting, they have to be talking, they have to be engaged. And I had to, like, I noticed I was like, Kendall, pay attention, baby, pay attention. Pay attention. All right. What is this word? She'd be like, log, all over the place. Mommy, 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 this is red. Yes, it is red. All right, let's do this word. Hog, hog. So I'm telling you guys to tell you guys, I'm saying the story to tell you guys that yes, we have to learn that kids do not necessarily need to sit still in order to learn. Some kids learn best while they are spinning around in a circle. Some kids learn best while they are tapping their pencil. Some kids learn best when they are pulling the rubber band on their wrist. And we just have to realize, like, okay, so what are the ways that this child learns? How does this child learn best? How can I best serve, my child, or so forth. And then whatever that thing is, let me cater to that. So for my child, it is running around, talking and playing while we're in the middle of blending words. So yeah, so the biggest eye-opening mistakes that parents and teachers make with teaching that I have also made has truly been creating overly complicated lesson plans. these long lesson plans that take 20 hours to create. These long lesson plans that take me days and days to do, feeling like I never had time to actually feeling like I never had time to actually teach what I planned because I was overcomplicating things. I was overcomplicating the lesson planning process. Um, and I felt like I had no work-life balance, especially you're giving all into teaching or you're giving all into this teaching your child even that you don't put yourself anywhere. And we're gonna hit that again. Not having any clear routines in place. There wasn't any consistency with it because there were no daily routines in my classroom. Therefore, there kids literally ended up, it became all about rules. With parenting, I did not have any daily routines. Therefore, my child ended up relating to my inconsistent practices. Therefore, she didn't grasp certain concepts because I started off very inconsistent. Daily routines. Trying to befriend children. You guys learn from my mistake. Set up structure, set up the boundaries from the beginning. You want them to be able to come to you, to confide in you, but you don't want them thinking that you are their friend. The lack of confidence, feeling like I didn't quite know what I was doing. Continue to practice. If that means you need to practice in your sorry, they are having construction outside, it's a little loud. If that means you need to practice in the mirror to gain confidence, then do that. But gain that confidence. Kids are like, well, if they can smell your fear, don't let them smell your fear. You guys, you can do this. You can do this. Make everything in life fun. And then winging it when not planned. Do you find yourself not creating these plans? Do you feel like you have it and you ended up winging it and you spend more time figuring out what to do next than actually knowing what to do next, just simply because the problem is you're winging it and this is a mistake. And we have to identify the mistake in order to be able to change the mistake. Not creating engaging lessons. So engagement is what makes kids learn and really truly connect with the content. So with that, I've created 3 really fun engaging lessons. The link is down below in the description. Get that free ebook. Go ahead and start implementing those lessons in your classroom or at home, and create an engaging atmosphere. Also, taking care of yourself. Put yourself first. You are you are important. You are important. And as much as I teach on making learning fun, doing all these fun activities, I also want to make it very clear that it is just as important to take care of yourself as it is to teach your children. It is equally as important. So definitely, definitely, definitely take care of yourself. Also, when it comes to using videos, a lot of us try to use videos in order to save ourselves some stress. Why teach someone I can just throw in a video? But what ends up happening is kids don't learn like that. But it's a great reinforcement. Do it as a preview before you actually teach, or as a reteach, or as a reinforcing, or as a next step. And so use videos to help you, not to hurt you. Because when you use it as the actual lesson, you're gonna be doing a lot of reteaching. A lot. So flip it. You teach, use a video to reteach. The other lesson is not investing in the proper professional development. Literally, let me know this is what I'm here for. If you feel like teaching is just overwhelming, if you feel like you don't know where to even start when it comes to creating lessons, if you feel like you just don't understand how teaching really even works, you're like, I just need the first step. If you're a new homeschool mom or a new teacher and you're like, I just need help, make sure that you grab the free ebook below in the description on creating. I'm giving you guys 3 really engaging lessons. All you have to do is click it, download it, and you can take off and teach with it. That will also add you to the email list, so you'll be getting notified when I do release my program. I have a webinar coming out November 8th that will just kind of teach you that. So coming in January when we start the program, I'll be walking you guys through all of this, how to teach, how to make engaging lessons, overcoming the overwhelm when it comes to teaching, and really honing in on the art of teaching effectively, and how to do that without the overwhelm and the stress. And our bonus tip, our bonus mistake, our bonus thing that so many of us do is that thinking kids must sit still in order to learn. And I'm here to tell you that that is not the case. Kids are wiggly. Don't go against it. Allow them to wiggle. Give them engaging activities that make them wiggle. I won't even let y'all know that, but one of the activities that is down below in the free activity guide, that ebook, y'all, one of the activities, you don't have to worry about this. It allows kids to get up and move. I think every one of the activities, kids are moving. Kids are moving, and you're relating them to either multiple choice or true or false questions that you're already doing. So no, it doesn't matter what lesson you don't have. It doesn't matter what skill you're working on. You can apply these really cool activities because they apply to any lesson. So yes, so don't forget to get that guide down below in the comments. And if you haven't already, last week I went over my top lessons that I've learned. So today we went over the mistakes that I've made. Last week we went over lessons. So if you haven't watched that live, make sure you check it out and make sure you're here next Friday, 9 o'clock. I can't wait to hear from you guys. Don't forget to get your free activity ebook. I love you guys. Mwah. See you next week.